talk a little bit about motivation. I think it is one of the most popular questions that I get asked all the time, aside from actual diet and weight loss questions. And I can kind of understand it because my own weight loss journey had been a series of failed attempts for pretty much 8 to 12 years before I finally got it right. The only thing that was different during those 8 to 12 years of trying versus the time that I got it right was my mindset and how I remained motivated throughout the entire period that I was on my journey. In the past, I know that on my Instagram, I have spoken about motivation as something which is very intrinsic and it comes and goes, so you can't really trust it. So you kind of need to place your discipline and determination above all else. But I wanted to be a little bit more helpful, so I sat down and really thought about what are some of the things that I did differently in the time that I actually succeeded in losing weight and keeping it off. And it turns out that I actually do have some points to share. So I have them written down here and I'm just going to go through them one by one and speak mostly from my personal experience. You of course can pick up pointers from what I'm saying and hopefully apply it in your own life and in your own version of it. For those of you who don't know, I lost about 40 kgs in a year, completely naturally without any surgery, purely through my own research and effort in diet and exercise. And so I come on here from time to time to share about that journey with you. Before I proceed, do subscribe to my channel. I plan on sharing a lot more about my weight loss journey and tips and tricks that help me along the way. And also don't forget to click the notification bell because that'll inform you every time I post a new video. So my first point is something that I've spoken about extensively on my Instagram and I've mentioned it in my older videos as well, but I think it holds good even in the context of this video, and that is to try and keep your weight loss journey very simple in the beginning. And I'll explain this with the help of an example. There was a time just before I was about to join my first job and I had to relocate out of the city straight out of college. I had about a month of free time before my employment started. So I was really excited about trying to get just a little bit fitter before I go in for my first job. So I did a bunch of things and I remember this very clearly. This was mid 2012. I signed up for a power yoga class and I decided to become very restrictive with my diet. So I had quit sugar, dairy, all grains, and I was vegetarian at the time, so pretty much the only thing that I was left with in my diet were vegetables and lentils or dals. So I started off that 1 month pretty confident that I was going to be able to pull off something. So I started going for my power yoga classes, which was about 3 to 4 times a week, and I started on my very restrictive diet. But things got very real after like literally day 2 or day 3. I realized that my physical capabilities were not that good yet, so I was struggling to keep up in my yoga class, and so that was kind of playing on my mind and my mood, and I was getting really frustrated every time I had to show up for my class. And then once I was done with my class and I came back home and I would eat my food, which was pretty much just like some kind of sabzi and dal, I was even more irritated because I was super hungry. I had complicated things for myself so early on, essentially just committed to something that I wasn't ready to commit to. So my suggestion for you is that in the early days you try to keep it very simple. In my previous video, I spoke about why you're not losing weight, and I called out one of the aspects being that you're eating too much. Extracting from that, so long as you are able to create a calorie deficit with a range of fairly decently healthy home-cooked foods that you are most likely to eat every day, like a roti, a little bit of brown rice, some dal, some vegetables, a little bit of curd, some fruit salad, a few snacks here and there, that is more than enough. In the initial days, let your diet be the hero of your weight loss and make sure that you're achieving a calorie deficit with your diet. Beyond that, your physical activity can be something as unassuming as if you have a flight of stairs, climb your flight of stairs about 10 to 12 times, come back to your room, lay out your yoga mat and look up like low impact cardio workouts on YouTube, and you can literally do 20 minutes of that. You really don't need anything else in the beginning, but try to keep that going consistently for about a month before you reassess how you want to change your program. So to summarize what I'm trying to say, let your diet be the champion of your weight loss, followed by any physical activity which is easy to do and accessible. Don't commit to something that you are not sure you will be able to do or see through in the long run initially. The next point that I want to talk to you about is be your own advocate. And what I mean by that is, not too many people are going to see your weight loss progress and be able to give you validation. For me personally, I had been on my journey for about 6 months before anyone ever turned back and gave me a second look and was like, wow, have you lost some weight? So we're all human and we all need some form of validation for the efforts that we're putting in. And the beauty about something like weight loss is that you put in the effort and you're going to see the reward almost instantly. But that reward is something that in the initial stages only you will be able to measure. So what I'm trying to say is, and I can't stress this enough, you should measure yourself, weigh yourself and track your progress every 3 weeks, just to make sure that you are on track and that the physical evidence of your progress is keeping you motivated. So, you know, strip down to your very basic underwear. It can be something like boxer shorts and a sports bra, and take photos from the front, back, both sides, and keep them aside, and also measure yourself with a measuring tape. So I remember measuring my bust, my waist and my hips, and my biceps, my upper thigh and my mid thigh. And it was unbelievable to me how every 3 weeks, one thing or the other would look different. Either the number on the weighing scale would move, or I'd have to hold the inch tape closer and closer, or, you know, the photos were looking different. Believe me, a year out, if you have been successful in your weight loss, it is so gratifying to see your progress in photos. Make sure that you are documenting your weight loss progress, because in the initial days, not too many people are going to notice it and call it out. So in a way, orchestrate your own validation in order to keep yourself motivated for the long run. So my next point is around setting shorter term non-weight goals. There are going to be periods for about 3 weeks or so where your weight might not move, where the inch tape is not showing any difference, or the photos are not showing any difference. Also because becoming too obsessed with the numbers can be quite stifling in a weight loss journey, it's important to have some fallback non-weight goals that you're working on. And let me give you an example of something that was a non-weight goal for me. So when I started off my weight loss journey, in the time that I was successful, I talk about how I did just 1 hour on the cross trainer every day along with the diet, and that's how I lost about 10 kgs in my first 2 months. But when I started off initially, I was barely able to do about 5 minutes on the cross trainer. So initially my workout would look like I would do 5 minutes on the cross trainer, I would be huffing and puffing, and I would just barely be able to make it to the 5-minute mark on the cross trainer. And then I would get off the cross trainer, I would do some floor exercises for about 5 minutes, and then I'd hop back onto the cross trainer, do another 5 minutes, come back down, do some floor exercises for 5 minutes, and I would keep going like that for about 20 minutes. And that was as much as I could do initially. But I told myself that, okay, I want to see a day where I am able to do 20 to 25 minutes continuously on the cross trainer. And guess what? I was able to achieve that within the first 15 days, and in the first month I was able to go to about half an hour, and within the first 2 months I was able to go for an hour. And also I forgot to mention, when I started on the cross trainer, I started at the lowest resistance possible on the settings, but towards the end I was able to crank it up all the way to like a level 6 or 7. Having a non-weight goal could be a really motivating factor for you to keep going. So it could be something like just how long you're able to endure a workout. It could be something like, oh, I kind of stopped fitting into these pair of pants last year. I want to fit back into those pants maybe like in a couple of months, or this top or this dress stopped fitting me, or I bought this outfit and I never wore it. In essence, what I'm trying to say is I will leave it up to you to figure out what your non-weight goal is, but think in terms of something that you can achieve in the shorter term, and think in terms of a non-number related goal. That should give you something to chase beyond weight or inches or how you look, to keep you motivated for your weight loss. The next point that I want to talk about has got to do with the people that you surround yourself with over the course of your weight loss journey. A lot of you may be living at home with your parents, or maybe living alone in a city and have a group of friends, or you may be living in a hostel. Whatever your circumstances are, a weight loss journey is pretty hard by itself, but if you are surrounded by people who do not understand or support what you are doing, it can get more and more challenging. If I have to think back on like one of these, as I was mentioning, failed attempts attempts at weight loss. I had gone for a week following a really good diet and working out, but this one day I came out to the dining room and there was this entire spread that was made for the family. You know, my family was gathering. I decided to just help myself to like a few things here and there, and they're like, okay, why are you not eating? Why don't you eat a little bit more? It's totally okay. And I know that they were coming from a place of caring and wanting me to engage and have a good time, but looking back, I did it only because I was being asked to, and I felt like there was some kind of expectation out of me, and less because I actually wanted to. There were times when I wanted to eat a cheat meal or whatever, but that wasn't the time. I just did it because I was asked to. You may be going out about a couple of times a week, and friends always have this tendency to, like, you know, encourage you, oh, have a drink, order something, why don't you eat something, why are you being like this? It tends to feel really good if you can stand your ground and say, hey, I'm kind of doing this thing for me right now, and I need you to be with me, I need you to stick with me and encourage me. Don't ask me to like give in and eat or drink something that I don't want to. If I want to, I will do it myself. I need your support during this time, and I need you to encourage me so I can get through this. So it's really important to keep the communication lines open, set the expectations with your family, your friend circle, and make sure that you are surrounding yourself with people who are encouraging, supportive, and understanding of what you're trying to achieve. That actually brings me to my next point: how to handle falling off the wagon. If you fall off the wagon, that doesn't mean it's the end of your weight loss journey. You can very well pick yourself up and get back on track literally within the next meal or the next day. I have so many examples from my own life to draw from because, as I said, I've just been on this journey for so long before I finally figured it out. There was a time where I was doing a few things. I was kind of trying to eat clean and I was working out, and I remember I had gone for, I believe it was maybe 2 or 3 weeks or so, and I was doing really good. I was seeing some movement on the scale and everything, and mom made these paneer pakoras, and she had kept it out, and I was so tempted to eat because, I mean, it was just like, it's like literally one of my favorite things to eat, and there was like this mint chutney. So before I knew it, I sat down at the table and I had eaten everything. I had finished the pakoras, I had wiped the plate clean, and I remember feeling this enormous sense of guilt, and I felt my willpower just coming down crashing. I was like, what have I done? I have eaten this crazy meal, that's it, it's over for me now. I have reversed 3 weeks of effort, and so much so that I just stopped. After that meal, I stopped my diet, I stopped my workout, and I had pretty much just thrown in the towel and given up. But hey, guess what? It is so normal and it is so okay to reach out for something which is not a part of your diet and to indulge in it. To have access to something that you really like, it's totally okay to eat it once in a while. What I'm going to ask you to do is to not feel a lot of guilt and beat yourself up because you ate that meal. Kind of just have a slight shift in mindset and tell yourself that just because you've had that meal, it doesn't mean that it's the end of everything. It just means that within the next meal you can get back on track, or you can literally do a workout that same day and get back on track the next day. Or let's just say that you've had a whole day of eating things that were not part of your diet. It's totally okay. My only ask is that you don't lose heart and give up, because what you're forgetting in that instance is the weeks of effort or the days of effort that have gone in before that. Those days, those hours of effort count for something. If you've gone off balance slightly with your diet, it's totally okay. Just get back on track and you should be fine. My next point is about having a really solid plan for your weight loss. Nothing is more frustrating than waking up in the morning and wondering, okay, what am I going to eat today? What am I going to work out today? So try to attack your weight loss journey 1 week at a time. Go back and look at my previous video where I talk about how you can make your own diet plan, and try to design a diet plan for yourself for a week. So you know exactly what you are going to be eating, what your day is going to look like. And also when it comes to workouts, try to do a little bit of research. Maybe you are going to be working out at home. So go on YouTube and look up some of the workouts that you want to try and save them. So later you can go and refer to it and you will know exactly what workout you're going to do that day. And also another element of this is when it comes to workout, timing is really important. What tends to happen, at least for me, is if I don't get my workout in at a particular time, or if I haven't dedicated a specific time slot for workout, I always push it to the last thing in the day, and then I miss my workout, and then the next day comes along, and then it's just an endless endless cycle. So if I tell myself that every day at about 6:30 in the evening you're going to step out no matter what and you're going to finish your workout, the alarm bell goes off in my mind, and I know that when 6:30 comes around it's time to work out, so I'll try to like wrap up work and I step out. So it's important to set up that timing for your workout, have some workouts planned beforehand, and know what your diet is going to look like, because you don't want to create so much frustration about what you're going to do next that you just don't do anything next. My last bit of advice is to ultimately, in all of this, in your weight loss, with your diet and your workout, you need to really focus on finding something that you truly enjoy doing. If this is going to be sustainable, if you want to keep off the weight for a longer period of time, you're going to need to find something that you enjoy doing. So when I moved to Singapore and I got back onto my fitness journey here, I had two options. One is either work out in the gym downstairs or to do my workout outdoors in my neighborhood. Personally, I know that I love the outdoors and I prefer to just like play a podcast, just space out and go for a really long walk. So that's what I started doing. Once I started my weight loss journey and a few years in, I know what I truly enjoy and what keeps me going, and so I will continue to invest in that, and I'll continue to choose that over other compelling forms of workout. If you're not the kind of person who wants to lift weights, don't do that. Instead, try to see if there's something else that you can put your money into, like for example like an online dance class or like a community dance class where you can meet a bunch of people who are doing similar things, who love the same thing as you, and maybe you will find that engaging and interesting to keep you going. So it's really important to find things that you love to do, and even with your diet, it's really important for you to understand what are some of the foods that you feel like you can eat forever. Like for me, for example, I love like a savory rice porridge or kanji. I enjoy it so much that I have a standard recipe that I stick to, and any time of the day it's like a healthy thing that I can eat. So I have a few fallback recipes like that that are things that I really enjoy, and I know how much I should be eating of that, and I'm good. I'm not going to subject myself to like crazy salads day in day out. Ultimately this is a lifestyle change, and you will only be able to crack it if you add in elements of things that you actually enjoy and love to do. So yeah. And I just want to leave you with a little bit of a positive note, guys. Don't worry. Believe me, when I was starting off, I had no idea what I was doing. I'm able to talk about all of these things in so much clarity only so many years later. But just be on it, keep doing what you're doing, and I guarantee you, you will get to where you need to be. I've fallen off the wagon more times than I can count. It's not been easy. The only thing that keeps me going every single day is knowing that every single day is an opportunity to start again, to try again, to recommit to myself again. I'm still on my weight loss journey, and I have a lot more to document and share with you. So with that, guys, please stay subscribed to my channel. I hope to be sharing my next video very soon with you guys. Until then, I'll see you soon. Bye.